What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's world title fight at 140 pounds between the world champion Alberto Puello taking on the former world champion Subriel Matias. Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Could you also like this video? Also, the channel is offering new Johnny Says Boxing Insider features for a couple dollars a month. You get to join our exclusive team in which you'll be the first to know my locks of the week. We go over our sports betting in this group. I talk about over and unders, knockdown prop bets, as well as other featured content. All right, guys, this is a fun fight in New York City between a former world champion and a world champion. Dominican Republic versus Puerto Rico. And you know the crowd is going to be electric. Subriel Matias is trying to become a world champion again after having lost his title to Liam Paro. He has fought since that loss and has put together a couple victories to put himself in another position to be king of the hill at 140. He's taken on a slick southpaw, a smooth operator, the undefeated Dominican Alberto Puello. We featured him on the channel a couple times as of late. We saw the Sandor Martin fight. We saw the fight in which he beat Gary Antoine Russell, in which after that fight he was elevated to full status. This is going to be a stylistic clash between a big puncher and Subriel Matias, a guy who carries into the ring 100% knockout to win ratio. The way he gets his opponents out of there is a little bit more methodical. He doesn't really have one punch knockout power. He has what I like to call accumulative power, and before you know it, you're in deep waters, and when he sees blood, he goes in for the kill. Puello's going to use the ring a lot. He's going to use his jab a lot, and in his eyes, he's going to use his counterboxing, his speed, his footwork, and his overall ring IQ to remain champion. So in this video, we're going to go over both fighters' careers. We're going to talk a little bit about how they go about their business. Stay tuned to the end of the video. Like always, I'll be going over the current Las Vegas odds, and that's where I'll be giving you my prediction and telling you where to put your money. You have a fighter like Subriel Matias, who was borderline, I don't want to say avoided, but not many people were putting their hand up to fight him before the Liam Paro fight, specifically because of all the knockouts, the aura that comes with fighting Subriel Matias. When Liam Paro went down to Puerto Rico, executed a beautiful game plan, and won a split decision, I don't want to say he gave the blueprint on how to beat Subriel Matias for future opponents, but with Alberto Puello, who's also a southpaw like Paro, who's also a smooth operator and uses his hand speed and timing, I think going into this fight, I wouldn't expect Puello to do anything that much differently than what Paro did to Matias. Guys, so right now I want to remind everybody what's at stake this weekend in New York. All right, guys, for all of those who's questioning how good Alberto Puello is, that will be answered July 12th. The undefeated WBC Junior Welterweight Champion will make the second defense of his title on the Ring's pay-per-view card when he faces Subriel Matias in Queens, New York. Puello of San Juan del Maguana, Dominican Republic, was elevated to full WBC Junior Welterweight Champion after winning the interim belt via split decision over Gary Antoine Russell on June 15, 2024. He previously held the WBA Junior Welterweight title, but a failed drug test for clomiphene led to him being stripped of the belt in 2023. Puello vs. Matias pits an intriguing clash of styles. Puello was more than apt to stick and move and counter his opponent, while Matias, non-stop pressure guy and volume, have overwhelmed every opponent he has beaten. If their styles mesh and both fighters are jockeying for momentum throughout the fight, that could pave the way for Puello vs. Matias to steal the show on July 12th, with the winner escaping with arguably the best win of their career. Guys, we were live streaming both Puello's wins against GAR and Sandor Martin. I felt like the Puello against Gary Antoine Russell started a bit slow. I thought GAR got off to a great start. I had him up 3-1 going into the fifth, but something happened in the mid-rounds. Alberto Puello made an adjustment and started coming forward and stopping GAR, started working the body, landing his jab, and then making Russell come after him, and he was winning rounds this way. And what we saw, in my opinion, Russell kind of misjudged his gas tank, and towards the mid to late rounds was getting outworked by Alberto Puello. Since that loss from Gary Antoine Russell, he went on to an impressive victory over Rayo Valenzuela, and now he holds a belt. We then saw Puello move on to fight Sandor Martin in another close fight. He won split decision. I always talk about Sandor Martin, one of the most awkward, toughest southpaws to fight at 140 pounds. You'd be hard-pressed to find another guy who loses more close rounds than Sandor Martin. It's almost like he's winning, and up until like the last 15 seconds, he gives rounds away. So he loses a lot of close split decisions. I don't think the victory for Puello was controversial, but it could have gone either way. Subriel Matias is a guy, after he had his belt taken from him, you see this in boxing every now and then, when a sort of fighter's mystique runs dry. People after the Paro loss were calling him a fraud. You go to YouTube now and type Matias, and one of the most downloaded videos of his name says fraud check, all because of the loss to Paro. Now, I wasn't going to sit here and say that I expected Matias to work his way back to a world title. I kind of doubted him. But sure enough, after a few fights, gets back on his winning ways, and he puts himself in an awesome, great position to become a world champion again. This fight has the fight fans on the edge of their seat because nobody can sit here and tell you that they know exactly what's going to happen. Before I do tell you what I think is going to happen and give you my prediction, let's take a closer look at the challenger, Subriel Matias. Guys, Matias is 22-2 with 22 knockouts out of 2,741 fighters in the world at 140 pounds. He's ranked number 2. He's fought a career total of 118 pro rounds and carries into the ring 100% career knockout to win ratio. His adoring fans know him as El Orgullo de Maternillo. The 33-year-old Puerto Rican is a 5'8" Orthodox fighter with a 71-inch reach. He was born and raised and lives in Fajardo, Puerto Rico. We last saw him fight Galaz Valenzuela, 30-3, stopped him in the 8th. Ramirez, 26-3, stopped him in the 2nd. Paro, 24-0, lost to UD in the 12th. Ergashev, 23-0, stopped him in the 6th. Ponce, 30-0, stopped him in the 5th. When you think of a guy with a 100% knockout to win ratio, you instantly might think that he has one-punch knockout power, that this is a guy, as soon as the fight starts, is searching and seeking, and one punch ends the fight. That's not what he does. What he does is he adds. He constantly is working. He uses his jab to set up his backhand. His backhand is his most dangerous punch, and he wants to walk you down and get you almost in this sort of false sense of safety in which that you see his opponents take his shots, and somewhere around the mid-rounds, they start melting a bit. And this is where his thudding power always makes his opponents pay. And 100% of the time in his wins, he stops them. So it's going to be really interesting to see if this game plan is going to work against the slick southpaw Dominican. Right now, let's take a closer look at the champion and see what he's been up to. Guys, Puello's 24-0 with 10 knockouts out of 2,749 fighters in the world at 140 pounds. He's ranked number 11. He carries in the ring a 42% career knockout to win ratio, and he's fought a total career of 176 pro rounds. He is the WBC World Super Lightweight Champion. His adoring fans know him as La Avispa, and the 30-year-old Dominican is a 5'9" southpaw with a 71-inch reach. He was born in San Juan de la Maguana, Dominican Republic, but calls Las Vegas, Nevada, USA home. We last saw him fight Sandor Martin, 42-3, split decision in the 12th. GAR, 17-0, split decision in the 12th. Madera, 11-0, UD in the 8th. Akhmadov, 9-1, won a split in the 12th. Owens, 13-2, won a UD in the 10th. Guys, a lot of people will point to that Akhmadov fight in which people say that should have been a loss, and then he got set up to fight for his first world title against Rowley, and then he popped dirty for Clomine, and then he was out for a little bit of a time, and then he fights, like I said, GAR and Sandor Martin to a couple close decisions. So I don't want to say the jury's still out on Alberto Puello. I'm a believer in Puello. I think he hits a lot harder than people give him credit for. He's big for the division. He uses the ring well. Not all guys who are tall and lengthy use their length to their advantage. He definitely does. He's very mobile. He uses his footwork to evade, but also he could pressure you. He uses his jab to stop that forward pressure, and I feel that's going to have to be an integral part of his game plan. He just can't let Matias walk him down. He's going to have to dig down and use his jab to stop that forward pressure. Now look at these guys side by side. One's a former champion, one is the champion. Psychologically, it's tough to give either guy the edge. Puello's going to be the taller guy. He's going to have a longer reach. He's going to be the mover. He's going to be the smooth operator. It's no secret what Matias wants to do. The whole world knows what he wants to do. Puello knows what he wants to do. It's just going to come down to, is he going to have the speed and the footwork to stop and corner and cut the ring off against Puello? That's going to be the big question. Before we take a look at these Las Vegas odds and I give you my prediction, I want to let everybody know I do live streams on the daily. So if you haven't already, click that bell notification button so you can be reminded, because it's in those daily live streams that we go over the knockdown props, the over and unders, prop bets, my lock of the week, and my long parlay. But right now, we're just gonna go over my money line bet. All right, guys, down here in Australia, the betting app I use is called Sportsbet. So wherever you are in the world, grab your betting apps. And on the money line currently, this is as 50-50 as it gets. Alberto Puello and Subriel Matias are both $1.96 each way. So whoever you pick, you put 100 on, you get your money back plus 96 bucks. The draw is 16-1. Guys, it's very rare that fight week starts and it's a 50-50 fight, and as we approach fight night, it stays 50-50. Generally, money will be coming in one way or the other. This one has stayed right down the middle. What does that tell us? The money, the bettors, the gambling, bookies, everybody says this is a toss-up. It's a coin flip. What I've seen in Puello, what I've seen in Matias, I'm breaking this down straight up logically in terms of styles. I'm putting all my money on Alberto Puello. I'm gonna lean on the boxer. I'm gonna lean on the southpaw. I like how he uses the entire ring. I also like that people underrate his power because he could crack. And he's not just a guy who's gonna be defensively minded the entire time. He has shown that he can fight on the front foot. I fully expect him to take that game plan that Paro executed and kind of turn it up a bit. I think Puello is gonna be faster than Matias. I think he has better footwork. I don't like how Matias gets out of position when he throws and misses. And I think that Puello is going to find a lot of opportunities to counter him in those positions. You guys don't have to agree with me. This is not an echo chamber. I've been getting asked about this fight since it got signed. So in the comment section below, let me know who you're going with, Subriel Matias or Alberto Puello. Also, guys, if you haven't seen my breakdown, analysis, and prediction of another massive fight on this card between Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda, stay tuned to the channel because that's coming up right now.